Dr. Ken Erimtan, independent historian and geopolitical analyst, joins us from Berlin. And we have Mr. Farshidbagherian, political analyst, who joins us from Karaj, here in the Islamic Republic. All right, let me start with our first guest, Dr. Erimtan, and ask you two issues I think would be at the top of the list, if you agree, or if you don't, let us know. And that is, I think, the economy, given the position that the lira is in particular, and of course then comes the foreign policy arena. Do you think that Erdogan is up to the task of moving forward, especially when it comes to the economy, in order for at least the population at large in Turkey to feel some reprieve when it comes to things like inflation?
Well, in my opinion, Erdogan and his AKP, his AK party, they have put mind over matter. Such trivialities like the economy or people's happiness do not seem to be their primary concern. In my opinion, their primary goal is the furthering of their of what I have termed about 10 years ago a policy of Sunnification, namely to transform the Turkish Republic not into a nation state but into an Islamic state. And for that reason, it is always mind over matter, and the realities on the ground may be disadvantageous at this moment in time, but he will just try to muddle on and then eventually hope to get on top. But his main aim and goal is, in my opinion, to transform the Turkish Republic into an Islamic state and to totally dismantle the legacy of Atatürk and erase any trade of communism in the country.
Okay, just to make sure that I heard the terminology correct, you said from a nation state to an Islamic state. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Okay, Mr. Bagherian. So obviously, for the Islamic Republic, Turkey is a very important country in terms of its relation. Tell us the regional movements forward for Turkey when it comes to countries like Iran and also Syria and any other countries regionally that you think are important now that Erdogan has been re-elected.
Thank you very much. Of course, the runoff vote shows that Mr. Erdogan is extending his power for more than 5 years, but this kind of power is not the same as before, because after two decades of the power, I mean the top of the power, Mr. Erdogan himself orchestrated many kind of problems that right now he's facing this problem. The one of this most tough problem is the Syria border, because Mr. Erdogan was in mind that it was some kind of the irredentism and devasting of the Turkish empire, metaphysical empire, but devasting in the Syria region. But right now, Syria is a member of the powerful Arab League, and any problem with Syria is considered right now with a problem with the Arab League. So Mr. Erdogan, by means of the Syria, facing another type of the problem. The other problems, but I believe that the first problem should be economic problem, because the rate of the interest, the migration, and the unemployment, it would be the very toughest problem for Mr. Erdogan that can not rule easily in the region. He must involve, first of all, with the domestic problems. It means that for the coming months, more than maybe 6 or 7 months, he must try to find the financial and the liquid for the recovering the financial problem. After that, maybe Mr. Erdogan can consider what would be happen in the region. So the first problem is economic, is not the region itself for Mr. Erdogan. This is for your first question. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Erimtan, the reference that you made to Mr. Erdogan when it came to Atatürk, maybe if you can explain that a little bit further. What is it that makes you believe that he wants to, I think you used the word dismantle. Does he want to replace Atatürk in terms of the image that he projects when it comes to Turkey? And then if so, then what is it that he wants to take Turkey to? What plateau or to what pinnacle he wants Turkey to be in order for that to happen, if I understood you correctly?
Well, yes. As such, that has been Erdogan's plan all along. As long ago as 2015, he undertook his first steps to replace Atatürk with himself. at this moment in time. Back in the olden days, back in the old Turkey, as he likes to call it, Atatürk's image was all over the place. It was ubiquitous. But nowadays, Atatürk's image is still all around, but at the same time, it's side by side with images of Tayyip Erdogan as well. In other words, and it's my opinion that, like I said before, Tayyip Erdogan wants to transform the Turkish nation into a pious nation of Muslims, and for that purpose, he aims to replace Atatürk as the main focus of the Turkish nation, in order for Turkey to once again reconnect with its Islamic roots, or as you would like to see them. That is, of course, which is of course the Ottoman state, which is what he is harking back to. Which does not mean that I think he has any kind of expansionist desires. Not at all. I think all political parties in Turkey are very adamant about the fact that the borders of the current Republic of Turkey are sacrosanct and cannot be changed, with a couple of exceptions, of course. The current borders of Turkey are based upon a document which was written in 1919 called the Misak Milli in Turkish, meaning the National Pact. And inside the National Pact, areas which are now outside Turkey are also part of that national territory, namely Idlib and Mosul. So it may be the case that in future years, the AKP government, led by Erdogan or his successor, would try to incorporate areas right outside the Turkish borders, such as Idlib or Mosul, into the Turkish nation state. But like I said before, all political parties regard the Turkish borders as sacrosanct and not to be changed. So they cannot shrink, but they might very well expand a little bit here and there.
Well, that expanding a little bit, Mr. Bagherian, if you agree, might pose problems, especially, for example, when it comes to Syria. But moving on, and quickly, if you can answer this since we're short of time, you know, the political landscape in the region is changing. It has changed for the better in terms of the unity that exists among all the nations now, especially that Iran-Saudi Arabia reconciliation catapulted the regional landscape into one of uniformity. And Turkey plays an important role there. Tell us if Erdogan is up to the task to make sure that this integration is fully executed.
Well,
the integration is not only for...
This is Mr. Bagherian. I'm sorry, Dr. Erdman. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Bagherian.
It's for me or for Dr.?
Bagherian, Mr. Bagherian.
Yeah, okay. The integration is not only for the region, this is for the domestic problem, because, you know, if you see that Mr. Erdogan right now, because of the power, vacuum of power, he how can I explain? He mixed some kind of the power. I mean the social power, like globalist, like nationalist, like ultranationalist, Islamists, and every kind of the social groups. They gathered together to give power to Mr. Erdogan to rule for more than 5 years. The same is valid for the foreign policy. The same is valid for the the look and the vision for the Syria and the other borders. So it means that Mr. Erdogan in the new era would change. It would be the revisionist in his foreign policy, the point of view for him. Okay. He must be in the gather of the power. Multi-power. Policy, because Mr. Erdogan is no longer has the power that has used to use it for the devastating and for expansionism in the world. But the main problem is to eliminating the nation-state system in Turkey is not made by Mr. Erdogan, it's by globalists. It is a global system that the globalists up to 2035, they want to eliminate all the nations all around the world. And right now, Mr. Erdogan would not be the part of this globalization, and this is the struggle between the East and West. This is the main problem for Mr. Erdogan to rule in the region for the new era. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Farshid Bagherian, political analyst, and also Dr. Can Ermtan, independent historian and geopolitical analyst from Berlin. Thank you to you both. With that, we come to an end for this edition of the News Review. Thanks for tuning in.